Hey guys, how are ya? Thank you for clicking onto this video, and please subscribe. Please subscribe. Let's push the numbers up. Boy, don't have a video for you today. You know, I'm more of I can call myself a value investor, but I also like trade a little bit. But I'm not a day trader. You know, but mainly I'll call myself as a value investor. So I'm listening to this guy. He was a professor. I think he's retired now. He's a renowned professor called Professor Bruce Greenwald. Please remember this name, Professor Greenwald. I'm listening to his interview. He's doing this interview, right? And it's all going great about value investing. He's talking about what you need to do and where the markets are and stuff like that. It's all going good. Just the last bit of it takes a downward spiral. You know, so I'm writing notes, and then the next thing he's talking about something out of the ordinary, right? Please listen to it, and I'll come back, and then we'll talk about it, because this is mind-boggling. All right? Please listen to it.
Here I want to talk about global warming. If we do not get population under control, I can guarantee you that we're not going to control global warming, because the aspirational poor people out there are going to want to live the way we live, and we're not going to lower our standards of living. Today, fertility rates everywhere in the world are just about below replacement. I think India is slightly above, but it's falling fairly rapidly, except in Africa. If you cannot control African population, we are going to be in a world towards the end of this century where we've got 6 billion poor Africans looking to do something, and that's not going to be good for the climate, and it's not going to be good for society. How much ESG attention do you think is devoted to that absolutely essential issue? None. So I'm really skeptical of ESG. I think it impairs the thing that's made human life what it is today. And I think it focuses on fashionable things, not on the absolute essentials.
Absolutely.
So you hate it. One thing I've realized is that a lot of black people, there's black people in the value investing world or even in the investing world, but it's not a lot of us, you know, and I want to bring more people into investing, long-term investing. You don't have to be a stock picker or anything like that. Find an ETF. I'll start talking about that a lot more. I think most of the guys, they'll give you the Vanguard ETFs, but I think there's something even better, which is like academic ETFs, where academics have started these companies and they've put companies together that actually are making money within the S&P 500. So they can say 100 companies, but most of, let's say, the S&P 500, like VOO and all those ETFs for those people in America. In Australia, we got what's known as VAS, which is the 300. I think there's 330 companies that are in Australia. However, some of these other ETFs is like academics get into these companies and only pick the companies that are profitable. So they'll pick like 100 companies that are profitable and just invest in those companies. But when you buy like VO, you're even investing in companies that are in making money, which is a lot of companies on there. But these are stories for other days, right? So I'm listening to this. Everything is going well. Professor Greenwald is talking about investing and how he's got this team of people that have come together and they're value investors, hundreds of billions of dollars involved. But like you heard there, he brings up Africa and population control. And he tries to attach that to the planet. You know, how we are carbon emissions and all this stuff. And he's trying to blame it on the Africans. Now we know, first of all, the people in Africa produces the least amount of greenhouse gas, right? Because Africa is not as industrialized as other places. It probably contributes about 2% maybe, or even 0.3% or something like that. or just 2% of the total greenhouse gases, right? Most people in Africa farm the old school way. They are not using pesticides and all that stuff, and this is changing. We are becoming like everybody else, which is sad. But the way he looks at it is that the Africans want the way we live, right? So he looks at it from this angle, and I've heard even Elon Musk looks at this from this angle, is where they say the population around the world is going down. In Japan, in China, even this guy mentions India. And I could see the guy he was interviewing was Indian, and he became uncomfortable and started talking about this. But hear what he has to say, because it's not just him. Listen, you heard what he said. The Africans, we need to be very careful of them. It's only in Africa where the population is going up. Instead of saying, what is it that we are doing wrong, that our population is dwindling, and we try to fix that. No, the Africans are a problem, because in the end, we're going to have 6 billion Africans on our throat trying to live Come on, man. Come on. There are so many ways. And the danger to this is these are the people that people like Bill Gates hang out with. The danger to this is like these people, if you go to Africa today, there are so many organizations that are trying to tell Africa, in the name of teaching Africa about birth controls and family planning and all that crap, right? And these are the guys who are funding these organizations, guys with that kind of mentality whose aim is to depopulate the continent. Now, here's the truth. Africa is the least populated continent on this planet. Africa is almost 4 times the size of Europe, and yet it has the same population as Europe. Almost the same population as Europe. So why do we need to depopulate? We should be looking at populating, not depopulating. All right? We don't need to depopulate the continent. We need to repopulate it. We need to create an environment where our people are not pushed to want to leave the continent. They want to stay. And I know most Africans don't even want to leave. All my friends and other people I've met, they said, dude, if I could only get a job in Zimbabwe or in Ghana, in Nigeria, in Kenya, I wouldn't be coming here. Most people don't want to leave. And that's why we need to go as Africa. However, these guys are cunning. They are coming there with the hand of, we're trying to help you. The number of cancer rates is going up, right? The number of people dying from heart diseases is going up. The number of people dying from all sorts of illnesses that never existed in the continent is going up, because some of it is because we are getting products and medicines that are funded by these people, given to us. Just look what happened during the coronavirus. They were giving Africans J&J vaccine, which was even banned in America, but they were still giving it to the Africans. And this is what I say, we need to be very careful, even with people like Bill Gates. If you look at Bill Gates is buying up all the farmland. Bill Gates is doing all sorts of things, and ultimately he's not helping you. What he wants is to create a global business where you all rely on him or his companies. He's not trying to help you. He's trying to invest for the future of his people and his children. And we need to be aware of that. No one is coming here to help us. Everyone is bringing their diseases. Because this is how I know. If you look at even Elon Musk hardly talks about Africans. If he talks about Africans, it's always in a negative way. He's talking about the Japanese and the Chinese. And if you look at Jeffrey Epstein and what that guy was trying to do, populate the world with his DNA by making a lot of young women pregnant. That's what they wanted to do, and they were trying to figure out how they can do that. You can see Elon Musk is doing the same thing, having kids everywhere. So all these people, or most of them, have a similar mindset of depopulating the continent. They have something that's anti-African. For some reason, it's just there. Please, this has to be taken seriously. You hear what he says, depopulate the continent. And I guarantee you, because they got the money. In Africa, we ain't poor. We are money poor. Don't you think it's funny that people say, oh, this is the country with the highest gold reserves? Where did the gold come from? No one says, oh, this, if it's true, the president of Uganda a year or so ago said, or a few months ago, he said there was $12 trillion of gold underground in Uganda. $12 trillion. There's no country here in the Western world that has $12 trillion worth of gold. But we do, because our gold is underground. And what we need to do is to focus and be committed to doing better, because these guys are coming. Our politicians need to focus on developing our continent. We need to be careful with what they give us. All the products, all the medicine, all this stuff, they are actually there to depopulate us, because we are seen as a threat. But we are not seen as a threat. These people are just racist by nature. There's nothing you can do that's gonna change them. They're always gonna wanna mistreat you. And I don't care whether you are a Christian or whatever. Oh, the white people at my church are good. BS. The good people don't control nothing. It's people like these guys. Okay? And we need to be aware of that. There's so many programs right now where they're lying to these African people about, oh, don't have many kids. Having kids is what causes poverty. Bigger population, more poverty. China just proved everyone wrong about that. Japan, they're 1 point something. India is going to be. Why is that? Because they got a bigger population. It's about coming up with ways to know how to deal with things. It's nothing to do with population or the number of people. The number of people is actually a good thing, but we can learn to live in a better environment and a better way. Remember, we lived in Africa, there was animals. In Europe, they got no animals. They ate all of them. We live in Africa, there's gold, diamonds, every mineral you can think of. They used to have that in Europe too. It's only that they dug everything out of the ground. We didn't. Everything that's out there, we've done it better. Even the way we've looked at our LGBTQ whatever community. Yes, they were there in Africa, even before colonialism. But the thing what used to happen is the healers within any community, they'll realize who these people were, and they'll talk to them and they'll guide them. We didn't kill nobody. That was a better approach. And instead of people learning from Africa and our approach towards these people, the people who used to kill them wants to come and teach us how to look after these people. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. Because they think they're smarter than us. Have you ever heard of the story of Onesimus? An African man who showed Americans about inoculation. Look into that. So we can do our own stuff. We don't even need their medication. Their medication, people are dying. There's cancer in Africa. Things that never used to be there. There's kids becoming drug addicts. These things never used to exist. Because we're not thinking about us. We're just following and believing in these people. This guy is a professor who has taught so many of these value investors, and they are making money. So value investors make money. You know what? They will sponsor and fund. This is where people come from. Oh, Bill Gates has given Africa whatever millions of dollars to do this. He's not doing that to help you. He's giving you sickness. And when you get sick, then you rely on him. And then when you rely on him, they develop a company to develop the antidote to your sickness. And you become a customer. And you depend on this person for the rest of your life. That's not what Africa needs. This is what goes on in their sector. And I tell you what, I'm listening to these guys and I'll keep bringing it to you, my people. And we need to be aware of what's really going on. Okay? So thank you. Everyone, please share this video. If you have a YouTube channel, put it on a YouTube channel. Put his name out. Professor Bruce Greenwald is a racist prick. Thank you for watching, guys. Please press that like button. And please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Thank you. Goodbye.